Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept our humble obeisance.
So can we start?
Yes, Prabhuji.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपदा मह्यं ददाति स पदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापद्कमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातां सागना रघुनाथामृतं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सघना ललिता श्री विशाखामृतांश नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठा भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी के नामने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शुद्धवादी पाश्चात्य सतारणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौतमे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तत्कांचन गौरांगी श्रीरा देवेन्द्र वनेश्वरी विश्वामित्र देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने परमपद सुभद्राभ्याम जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। So we were discussing NOI 8. Yes. Some devotee can say, yeah. Karuna Vedanta. Thank you. Yes. So this sloka, we are discussing this sloka, which is considered the essence of all the advices of nectar of instruction. तन्नाम रूप चरिताल कीर्तनानु स्मृत्यो क्रमेण रसना मनसी नियोज्य तिष्ठन् वदेत अनुरागदनानुगामी कालम नीर अखिलम उपदेशः. So we had discussed this verse from the perspective of a sadhaka. So we were discussing how, from a perspective of a sadhaka, one should meditate on Krishna, meditate, chant, hear about Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes, 24 hours a day, and regularly for a sadhaka like all of us. But it should be done under the guidance of some advanced devotee. So in this way, one can stay in the Vrindavan or the place where Krishna's deities are there and engage in devotional service. And today we learn this from a point of view of a, you can say, how a neophyte slowly comes to the stage of Raganuga Bhakti and can do it. So you can scroll it down, the purport. More. Yes, much more down. Just a minute. Yes, this one. In the neophyte stage, yes, that's all. Second last. Yes, this one. Thank you. So this purport we see, or this paragraph, we see the different stages of remembrance of Krishna are given. So the entire hierarchy is given in this purport. So how it begins? So it begins with Traman Dasa. Traman Dasa means hearing about Krishna. So just by hearing about Krishna, slowly, as we hear about Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes, the mind starts accepting them. So initially, we'll see that class may be going on, but mind wanders at different places. And the reason is that we don't have taste for Krishna Katha. So when that taste is not there for Krishna Katha, then the mind goes towards political Katha, sports Katha, different Katha. But as we keep on hearing, then slowly mind becomes prepared and cleansed and we come to the stage of Varanadasa. Varanadasa means we accept, or the mind starts accepting the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord. So this was the next one, Varanadasa. So in this way, on in Varanadasa level, one becomes attached to hearing Krishna Katha. That means wherever Krishna Katha is going on, immediately ears go in that direction. If we see among the 9 stages of devotional service, it is more corresponding to asakti. Asakti. So at the level of asakti, the legs want to go away from the temple. Sorry, we want to go away from the temple, but legs don't follow us and they just go to the temple. We may think, oh, I have so many services. I have been taking that from the Lord since such a long time. Let me see somewhere else. But eyes disobey, and then still they look at Krishna. Ears, we say, oh, enough of Krishna Katha, I have to do so many other things. Ears disobey, and they again go to Krishna Katha. So that is called asakti. Asakti means there's a lot of attachment for the process of Krishna consciousness. And not just processes, even the object of process, that is Krishna. One becomes attached to Krishna. So that is how, on that level, one can practice Raganuga Bhakti. So as you must have already discussed in or heard in NOD, that Raganuga Bhakti is practiced when a person practices same Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam in a very specific way, following in the footsteps of some Ragatmika Bhakta. That means same thing is there, but it becomes very specific. So then that is called Varanadasa, where a mind starts accepting and one becomes attached. So that's called Varanadasa. And after Varanadasa, when one comes to the level of how, then one is able to chant in ecstasy, hear and remember Krishna in ecstasy. So that's the next level. This level can be called as Smarana Avastha. Smarana Avastha, where one chants in ecstasy. So, so this is the next stage. So recollection, absorption, meditation, constant remembrance, trance. So they all come in this Krishna Smarana, or the same Smarana Avastha. So among Smarana Avastha also there are different things given. Recollection. Recollection means whatever one has heard, one recollects that. Oh, in this particular time I heard that. Otherwise, what happens is we may see or observe in the action of devotees that even after hearing the whole lecture, sometimes we ask from devotees, Prabhu, which point did you like in the lecture? So many times it's like person is blank. I liked the lecture. I heard so many points in the lecture, but which point did I like in the lecture? I can't recollect anything. Unless and it is a joke or some story here and there. So direct Krishna Katha has become difficult to recollect. So another is recollection. Then after recollection comes absorption. One becomes absorbed, one becomes lost. We find such a thing in the life of Krishna King Kulsekar. So King Kulsekar was so absorbed in hearing Krishna Katha that when he heard that Ravan had captured Sita and taken to Lanka, immediately ordered the entire force, let us go and attack, go to Lanka and save Mother Sita. So it's like such a absorption is there. So absorption, then comes meditation, and meditates on those leelas. And then there is a constant remembrance. And finally, trance. Trance means one is not in this world. Like we find in the case of Syamanand Pandit's Rasikananda. So these personalities, so when they were, Syamanand Pandit was sweeping the floor, he bought this Nupur of Radharani,
which is practically in a different dimension altogether. But such a reciprocation can be there on the level of trance. So these are the progressive stage of Krishna Smarana or Smaranavastha. And then, as it is given in the purport, at first remembrance of Krishna may be interrupted intervals. So initially, one thinks of remembers Krishna, then there is a break. Okay, one may think about, okay, I have to take some prasad also, I have to take some water also. So there is some interruption. But later what happens is, it becomes uninterrupted. It becomes very concentrated. So then it is called meditation. And when this meditation is constant, it is called anusmriti. That means one is constantly meditating on Krishna's personality. So generally, anusmriti means for a long period of time. But when it is like for more than 48 minutes, then same thing becomes like a samadhi. Samadhi. So then that's called samadhi. So it's also called smarana dasa or samadhi. So when it's more than 1 or 20 minutes. Generally what happens is, person may remember, but then there are breaks. Then it becomes continuous. When it becomes continuous for long time, then it becomes samadhi. And after going in samadhi, then one can understand one's constitutional position. Who is he in the spiritual world? What is my relationship with Krishna? Relationship means eternal relationship with Krishna. Who are my masters under whom I am getting trained to serve Krishna? What is my eternal service in the spiritual world? So all these things get revealed in due course of time. So doing that in Vrindavan under the guidance of a pure devotee is the essence of all the advices. So that is how everything begins with hearing, Sravanam. And the same Sravanam becomes more intense as the time passes. But on practical terms, really speaking, it takes decades. It takes decades. So many times devotees who try to prematurely taste that nectar, they risk themselves by getting swayed away. Because that creates impatience. So if you go to Vrindavan, you'll find some posters there. Now you go around Radha Kund, there are posters. 6 महीने में कृष्ण के दर्शन कराने वाले. Within 6 months, he'll give you darshan of Krishna. So then devotees say, oh, I've been chanting since so many years. I'm initiated also. No, what is the darshan of Krishna? No, I didn't get a darshan of cows of Krishna also. Even donkeys of Krishna are not visible to me. And this person is giving the darshan of Krishna in 6 months. And one starts joining them. So this is thorough cheating actually. Nothing happens in 6 months. So personalities like Dhruv Maharaj are exceptional. And we can't do the pasa like them. One of our devotees in Vrindavan temple during Prabhupada times. So during Prabhupada times, whenever Prabhupada would write some purports, practically all the devotees would collect together and read all the books. Oh, this excerpt has come from Prabhupada, that has come from Prabhupada. So when Prabhupada wrote about Dhruv Maharaj section, many devotees started following terrible austerities. So one devotee was in Vrindavan, he thought, oh, Dhruv Maharaj was doing tapasya right here in Vrindavan, that one Madhuban. So then immediately he ran from the temple and he went to Madhuban. And wearing only kopin, he was like standing like this. And then when 3 days, so many mosquitoes bit him, he thought it's intolerable. Only Dhruv Maharaj can do it. So in the mid of the night, so that time a lot of dacoits were there also in Vrindavan temple. So devotees would have strong doors, bolted doors. So this devotee came and he was like knocking at the door, doom, 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 open, 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 open. And the guard thought that maybe some dacoit has come. So guard had rung a bell. And hearing the bell, all the devotees came. He thought whoever is dacoit now will face him, will do something. And when this devotee, he saw that the door is locked, he climbed through the wall and fell from the wall. So when he fell from the wall, all devotees thought maybe thief has come. So all the torches were focused on this devotee. This brahmachari was there only with the pulpit. So it was like he was feeling, what is this? And then later on, devotees understood that no, he couldn't do this austerity. So that's not practical. That's not practical. So main thing is if we have good amount of patience, we keep on hearing, chanting the asana of devotees, then slowly we'll get to this stage. But certainly, uh, we can take this verse on a sadhaka level, but trying to increase our hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes. So there's something practically we can do on our level. And Prabhupada has talked about Raghunaga Bhakti, which already you have read in detail in NOD. So we'll not discuss about it. Yes, Pandit Gadadhar.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhuji, I have
Hare.
a question. In the second last paragraph, it's been mentioned in the neophyte stage, one should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. So the point which is striking me is always, Prabhuji. So if I'll talk about myself, I cannot do this hearing always. So does that mean that I'm below level of the neophyte, or how is it, Prabhuji? What does always mean here? 24/7.
See, when Prabhupada is talking about this neophyte, he is a neophyte, and you can say Raghunaga Bhakti. So that's also quite high. But it's like Vishwanath Thakur writes that for devotees, Nityam means regular. Regular. At the same time, as far as possible, we can try to make it as Nityam as possible, or as much as possible. Like for example, either Harikatha or Harinam, we can maximize the time of hearing Harikatha or Harinam as much as possible. So like when we are in our job, so now some jobs may not allow us to hear all the time because other people will get disturbed, and certain things need interaction with other devotees. But like for example, some Matajis are housewives. They can hear 24 hours. They can hear 24 hours. It is possible for them. Similarly, somebody is having a shop or something like that. He has his own independence. He can hear 24 hours. So, but for other devotees, as far as possible, we try to maximize the hearing. So that is what we can do at our level. You're speaking something, but I can't hear you. Not audible to me. I don't know about others. You are audible till now. Now you're a little bit audible, faintly audible.
Okay. Prabhuji, I'm audible now?
Fully audible now, yes.
Okay. So, Prabhuji, since we talked about Samadhi, wherein Samadhi means that one has come to the understanding of original constitutional position. So when we hear about Parikshit Maharaj and he hear Krishna Katha or Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukdev Goswami 7 days and 7 nights, so is he in Samadhi at that point in time?
Yes, that is perfection of Samadhi.
Okay.
So what he says? Shrutamam taktodamapi vadate pivantam tamukham bhojam chutam harikathamritam. He speaks this verse to Sukdev Goswami. That, my dear Sukdev Goswami, just because I'm hearing about Achyut Katha of Krishna from your mouth, taktodamapi vadate. I am not feeling any hunger or thirst. So this hunger and thirst is not binding me. Earlier, the same hunger and thirst was binding him so much that he kept a dead snake on the neck of Samigrishi. Now, same Krishna Katha is so much absorbing him that he has forgotten hunger and thirst. So that is called samadhi. Samadhi means he was no more on bodily platform. So that is a experience of something.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, one last question from the last paragraph. So it states about the Ragunaga Bhakti or the spontaneous devotion service can be executed in Shantras and then Dasya Sakhiras. So do devotees actually hankering to become a cow of a Krishna or a flute of a Krishna? Or it's been mentioned that one can also become like Srimati Radharani or a lady friends. So do devotees really aspire for that?
It's like when we say Srimati Radharani, one doesn't try to become Radharani. One can become like a Sakhi. Sakhi means one doesn't try to become Radharani. See, if somebody tries to become Radharani or Nanda Maharaj, Yasoda, Subal, Sudama, any one of them, then it comes in the category of Mayavad. These are eternal associates of the Lord. We can't take their position. Not possible. So when we say that somebody tries to become like them means one tries to become like either Gopi, that was given here, or one tries to become assistant of Gopi, that's called Mandiris. So Rupa Mandiri and Rati Mandiri, they are Mandiris. Small girls who are assistants of Gopis. So that one can aspire for. But certainly not now, till one has become sufficiently purified. Because the experience of devotees is that it takes 30 years of sincere practice at minimum to come to the level of Nishtha. So till one has anarthas in the heart, one can't practice these things. And I have personally in my preaching seen so many devotees who start imagining I am on the level of Asakti, Bhav, Prem, and they spoil the Krishna consciousness. I remember one devotee, he was feeling that I am on the level of Ruchi. So then he was studying in the college, attending one program, doing services, and whole night he would chant. So within a week, he spoiled his health. And then from the level of Asakti or Ruchi, he fell below the sadhana bhakti also, Bhajan Kriya also. He started chanting 4 rounds. He left our youth center. So then this danger is there. So we should have patience. Then gradually what happens is a specific attraction automatically grows in the heart. One doesn't have to force it. So then one can practice it. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Hari Hari. So now we can go to the next verse. So devotees may not really recite it. I'll try to recite it. Vaikunda janito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsavat vrindaranya mudara pani ramana tatrapi govardhana radha kunda mihapi gokul pate premamrita plavanat puryadasya virajato giritate sevam vivekinaka. Please read the translation and the purport. Yes, Dayamatu.
Hare Krishna, Nanatana. Translation: the holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikunta, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathura Puri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavana because of Krishna's Rasa Leela pastime. And superior to the forest of Vrindavana is the Govardhana hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastime. And above all, the super excellent Sri Radha Kunda stand supreme, for it is overflowed with the ambrosial nectarian prema of the Lord of Gokula. Sri Krishna, where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha Kunda, which is situated at the foot of Govardhana hill?
Please read the purport also. It's 2 paragraphs.
But the spiritual world is threefold of the total creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is the most exalted region. The spiritual world is naturally superior to the material world, However, Mathura and the adjoining areas, although appearing in the material world, are considered superior to the spiritual world because the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself appeared at Mathura. The interior forests of Vrindavana are considered superior to Mathura because of the presence of the 12 forests, Divadasa Vana, such as Talavana, Madhuvana, Bulavana, which are famous for the various pastime of the Lord. Thus, the interior Vrindavana forest is considered superior to Mathura, but superior to these forests is the divine Govardhana hill, because Krishna lifted Govardhana hill like an umbrella, raising it with his lotus-like beautiful hand to protect his associate, the denizen of Braja, from the torrential rain sent by angry Indra, king of the demigod. It is also at Govardhana hill that Krishna tended the cows with his cowherd friends, and there also he had his rendezvous with his most beloved Sri Radha and engage in loving pastime with her. Radha Kunda at the forest of Govardhana is superior to all because it is there that all of Krishna overflows. Advanced devotee prefer to reside at Radha Kunda because this place is the site of many memories of the eternal loving affair between Krishna and Radha Rani. Rati Vilasha. In Chaitanya Charitamrit Madhya Leela, it is stated that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first visited the Vraja Bhumi, he could not at first find the location of Radha Kunda. This means that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was actually searching for the exact location of Radha Kunda. Finally, he found the holy spot and there was a small pond there. He took his bath in that small pond and told his devotees that the actual Radha Kunda was situated there. Later, the pond was excavated by Lord Chaitanya's devotee, headed first by the 6 Goswamis, such as Rupa and Raghunatha Das. Presently, there is a large lake known as Radha Kunda there. Srila Rupa Goswami has given much stress to Radha Kunda because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire to find it. Who then would give up Radha Kunda and try to reside elsewhere? No person with transcendental intelligence would do so. The importance of Radha Kunda, however, cannot be realized by our Vaishnavas, Sampardayas, nor can person uninterested in the devotional service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understand the spiritual importance and divine nature of Radha Kunda. Thus, Radha Kunda is mainly worshipped by the Gaudiya Vaishnava, the follower of the Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Thank you. So this verse talks about the hierarchy of the superiority of different places. So, yes, Subham Prabhu has a question.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have a question regarding the last verse in which we were discussing that at the point of samadhi, a person realizes what was his relationship with Krishna in Golok. But we also say that we have never went to any spiritual planet. We never came from any spiritual planet because from there is no fall. We never came from a spiritual planet. So how do we understand this? If we have never came from a spiritual planet, then how do we will realize that what was our relationship with Krishna?
See, actually, this is some famous question which I have heard at many places. And this is most controversial topic since Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Whether we fell from the spiritual world or we didn't fell from the spiritual world. So different devotees have different opinion, but I would say Prabhupada's opinion was that we did fell from the spiritual world. Okay, GB is pretty clear about it. There are many devotees who don't agree. So this was a big issue in 1980s and 1990s also, I think, as far as I remember. And then because of that, GBC wrote an entire book called Our Original Position. You can find that in Vedabase. It's a fat book, like now so many pages. There's so many quotations. So the whole topic, we don't want to get into that detail because as far as GBC is concerned, their opinion is we did fell from the spiritual world. And now individual devotees have different opinion and they can stand on their opinion. That's a different thing. Okay, so bro.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So because this is like, at least I have heard this question 1,000 times in my teaching. Like practically everybody has. See what happens is, like many devotees, there are certain things which we can see from our eyes. There are certain things which are beyond our eyes, beyond our senses. So topics like how did we fell from the spiritual world is something which we have to just see from the eyes of the scriptures. And scriptures don't describe this particular phenomena too much. It may be individually different for different people also. That's why maybe scriptures don't describe it. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the example that if somebody shot an arrow to you, first thing is to remove the arrow rather than finding who shot the arrow. So similarly, first thing is that we should go to spiritual world rather than asking these questions. So that's why personally I don't dwell so much into this controversy. Maybe after many decades, if I get in that position where I can ask this question to Krishna, then I can answer it. But currently I can't answer. Yes, Daya Mataji.
Prabhuji, I want the name of that book. Like you said right now.
Our original position. OUR, our original position. You can find it in Veda base. In Veda base, other scriptural writings, there is a whole, there is a general by GBC Press. Yeah, generals by GBC Press. There is this book, Our Original Position.
Thank you.
Yeah. I read 20-25 pages of that, but I found it very boring. Because there were just quotation after quotation after quotations. So then I just left it there. Yeah. Okay. So let us come to this verse now. So the hierarchy is given here in a translation as Prabhupada explains in the purport. 3/4 of the entire spiritual sky is spiritual sky. 1/4 covered by cloud is the material world. Now the spiritual planets or the spiritual world is much more superior to the material world. And in the spiritual world, the Vaikuntha planets are considered the places where pure devotees and the Lord Narayan reside. But superior to Vaikuntha is Mathura. Why? Because Krishna appeared in Mathura. But then superior to Mathura is Vrindavan. So certainly one reason is Krishna appeared there as in the translation. The other reason is that in Mathura, sometimes devotees remember Krishna's greatness, sometimes they don't remember Krishna's greatness. That is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So like Vasudeva and Devaki, they begin with their prayer saying, "Oh my dear Lord, you are the conqueror of the directions. All the three modes of material nature are under you. No, you are the creator, maintainer, and destroyer." So they talk about Krishna's greatness. And towards the end of the prayer, they say, "But my dear Lord, you have 4 hands. Please hide your 2 hands, because if Kansa comes to see that you have 4 hands, he'll understand that you are only Lord Narayan, who has come to kill you, who has come to kill Kansa. So if he discovers that, he'll certainly kill you the way you have, he has killed all our children. And so much effulgence is coming from your body. Please take it back. Otherwise, Kansa will discover you and kill you." So they begin with greatness and with sweetness. So that is how Mathura Vasis are there. But then superior to Mathura is Vrindavan. Why Vrindavan? Because Vrindavan has Raslila pastimes, and also in Vrindavan, devotees just meditate on sweetness of Krishna, not greatness of Krishna. So when Arjuna saw universal form of the Lord in Bhagavad Gita, he became perturbed and he became very fearful. When Yasoda saw greatness of Krishna or universal form of Krishna in his mouth, it's like Krishna ate mud, and Yasoda said, Krishna, you ate mud? Earlier you were eating from other people's houses that was still digestible to me, but now you have started eating mud. So Krishna said, no, I never ate mud. And then Yasoda says that Balram is also saying that you ate mud. Krishna says, yeah, I'm also wondering. Balram never speaks lie. Why is he speaking lie today? So then finally Yasoda says, open your mouth. And when Krishna opens his mouth, Yasoda starts seeing all the universe in the mouth of Krishna. She herself was there in the mouth of Krishna. And then she starts thinking, is it Maya of some demon that I'm seeing such a wonderful things within Krishna's mouth? But then she starts thinking, no, so she thinks that maybe it's Maya of some demigod. Then she starts thinking, why will demigods bewilder me? I'm such an ordinary lady. Then she starts thinking, maybe it's some Maya of some demon. Then she said, oh, if it's Maya of demon, then it's very dangerous. And then so her love for Krishna increases. So that is how, even if Krishna shows his greatness in the spiritual world, nobody cares. During Ras Leela, Krishna ran away, gopis were following Krishna, and then they happened to see Lord Narayan. And then they pay obeisances. They say that, my dear Lord Narayan, please tell us where is Krishna. So that is how devotees are not at all influenced by Krishna's greatness in Vrindavan. So that's why Vrindavan is considered much more superior. But then better than Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, because it has touch of Krishna's lotus finger. And also, Govardhan is non-different from Krishna. Antaya madrabala haridasa varyo yad Ram Krishna charana sparsa pramodaha manam tanoti sahago ganayostayoryat pani yesu vesakandar kandamule Hantaya madrabala haridasa varyo. Among all the devotees of Lord Narayan or Lord Krishna, Lord Hari, Govardhan is the best. Why? Yad Ram Krishna charana sparsa pramodaha. Because he gives pleasure to Krishna's and Balram's lotus feet by giving warmness in the cool season and coolness in the hot season. Pani suyva skandar kandamule. Govardhan gives pregnant water which quenches the thirst of Krishna, Krishna's associates, and even the monkeys of Krishna. Then Vrindavan, Govardhan, also gives kandamule, the fruits, kandamul, roots and fruits, which Krishna and all the gopas nicely rejoice upon. Govardhan also gives grasses to Krishna's cows. So in this way, Govardhan is in the mood of servant. That's why Govardhan is so great. So maybe I can still continue. I was thinking whether to speak or not because it's a short class. But I think I can tell concisely about beauty of Vrindavan, beauty of Govardhan. So Govardhan it is better than Sumeru, which is made of gold. And it is better than Kailas, which is made of silver. Why? Because Govardhan is spiritual in nature. Govardhan is not different from Krishna. Govardhan has tall peaks which practically touch the sky. And during the time of Krishna, Govardhan was so tall that the shadow of Govardhan would fall on Kansa's castle. Govardhan was so tall. So Govardhan is so beautiful. Govardhan is bedecked with small, many jewels. That's why whenever sunlight falls on those jewels, sunlight divides it into 7 colors. And when this 7 colored light falls on the fountains of Govardhan, it looks really like a rainbow. So it's like water goes like this, jumps, takes a leap, again goes down. It makes the shape of a bow. And because this bow has 7 colors, it looks like a rainbow, real rainbow. Then Govardhan has many platforms which are made up of sapphire, sphatic, sapphire, in which Gopas along with Krishna can sit nicely and take prasad. On the bottom of the sapphire, there are diamonds which give them light. So they can peacefully take prasad in any place. There are caves in Govardhan, which are warm in winters and cool in summers. Through Govardhan has a lot of fountains, as we had discussed. So these waters of the fountains go through the root of sandalwood trees and become very fragrant. When they pass through different herbs, they become green in color. At the bottom of Govardhan, there are many kundas. Many kundas are there, which quench the thirst of Krishna, Balram, cowherd friends, monkeys, and all the animals of Vrindavan, especially on the Govardhan. So whenever the Rurus, the animals of Govardhan, they drink this water, they become greenish in color because of drinking this water, because it's filled with so many herbal qualities. And that is why the animals on Govardhan, they look like green jewels from the top. They shine like that. Then this Govardhan has many sportive places. If you go to Govardhan, you find a special patti there, now where Krishna would slide down. Then in Govardhan, there are many beautiful trees, and they are intertwined with different creepers filled with flowers that they make swings for Krishna and Balram. Krishna and Balram can just swing on those creepers. Govardhan has a lot of minerals. So first set of decoration to Krishna is done by Yashoda. Second set of decoration is done by the Gopas. So Gopas collect minerals from Govardhan and they paint Krishna and Balram. Then there are a lot of flowers, forest flowers in Govardhan. Krishna and Balram they wear a garland made of those forest flowers. There are grasses on Govardhan which cows eat and enjoy. So in this way, Govardhan doesn't just serve Krishna. Govardhan, being in the mood of servant, serves all the devotees. The airs which blow through Govardhan, they collect water droplets from the fountains. They collect fragrances from the flower garlands, and they sprinkle this scented water in the entire Vrindavan. That is how entire Vrindavan becomes fragrant because of this water. So that is the beauty of Govardhan described by Kavi Karnapur, son of Sivanand Sen. He describes the beautiful beauty of Govardhan. So this Govardhan is super excellent. And as we were discussing that on the foothills of Govardhan, there are many kunda. So among them, the best is Radha Kund. So Krishna Kund is non-different from Krishna. Radha Kund is non-different from Radharani. Krishna loves his pure devotees more than he loves himself. So that is why, and among the devotees, the best devotee is Radharani. That's why Krishna loves Radha Kund like anything. And that is the reason Radha Kund is so much celebrated. So much so that when Lord Chaitanya came to Vrindavan, he was looking for Aristogram. So he went to Aristogram, where Krishna killed Aristasur. And then he was searching, where is Radhakund? Where is Radhakund? Where is Radhakund? And then he found that there is a small pond between the farms. And Lord Chaitanya didn't think whether it is muddy or not, and then he just jumped and took bath in that Radhakund. He said this is not different from Radharani. And that's why when Goswamis came to Vrindavan, they renovated the whole place, and that is how we have such a beautiful Radhakund now. So it was done under the instructions of Raghunath Goswami, the construction. And personally, the construction work was seen by Jeev Goswami. Jeev Goswami got legal papers for Radhakund. He worked very hard to renovate the entire Radhakund. So that is how we'll find so many Gaudiya Vaishnavas residing in Radhakund. So among all the places, that's why Radhakund is considered to be the supreme most place. So of course, when our devotees go there, Prabhupada initially he allowed devotees to take baths. But in due course of time, he found that devotees were like very casually throwing water at each other, playing sports here and there. So then Prabhupada said, no, you people are not qualified to take a bath in Radhakund. Radhakund is a place of devotion, so one should respectfully take bath in Radhakund. So then Prabhupada said, no more taking bath in Radhakund. Just take 3-drop water baths. And that is how, since then, most of the devotees, they just take 3-drop water baths. I also not taken full bath till now. So it's a great place. So especially those who are on the level of bhav can very quickly advance to the level of prem by staying in the place of Radhakund. So Samkund, Radhakund, so Radhakund is considered the supremest. And where Lord Chaitanya took bath there, that's why this is considered the supermost place by all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Okay, so this is about hierarchy of places. So better than material world is spiritual world. Among spiritual world, the best place is Vaikuntha. Better than Vaikuntha is Mathura. Better than Mathura is Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, the best place is Govardhan. And in Govardhan, the best place is Radha. So this is the hierarchy. Now we can go to the next verse number 10. So I'll try to recite this also. Karme vyaparito hare pritaya vyaktim yajuri jnaninas tebhyo jnana vimukta bhakti parama preme ke nishthastatha tebhyasta pasupala pankajadrasas tabhyo pisaradhika preshta tavat tadvat yam tadiya sarasi tam na sarayat ka kriti. Please read the translation and the purport. Okay, Swamprabhu. Yes.
Translation. In the Shastras, it is said that of all types of fruitive work, he who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. Out of many such people who are advanced in knowledge, Gyanis, one who is practically liberated by virtue of his knowledge may take to devotional service. He is superior to the others. However, one who has actually attained prema, pure love of Krishna, is superior to him. The gopis are exalted of all the advanced devotees because they are always totally dependent upon Krishna, the transcendental cowherd boy. Among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most dear to Krishna. Her Kund lake is as profound dear to Lord Krishna as this most beloved of the gopis. Who then will not reside at Radhakund? and in the spiritual body surcharged with ecstatic devotional service, render loving service to the divine couple Sri Sri Radha Govind, and who performs their Ashtakali Leela, their eternal eightfold daily pastimes. Indeed, those who execute devotional service on the banks of Radha Kund are the most fortunate people in the universe. But at the present moment, almost everyone is engaged in some kind of fruitive activities. Those who are desirous of gaining material profits by working are called karmis or fruitive workers. All living entities within this material world have come under spell of Maya. This is described in Vishnu Puran. Vishnu Vishnu Sakit Para Prokta Kshetra Gyankha Tatha Para Avidya Karma Samgyanya Tritya Sakir Ishyate. Sages have divided the energies of Supreme Personality of God into three categories, namely the spiritual energy, marginal energy, and material energy. The material energy is considered to be third class energy. Tritya Saktiha. Those living beings with the jurisdiction of the material energy sometimes engage themselves like a dog and a hog in the working working very hard simply for sense gratification. However, in this life or after executing pious activities in the next life, some karmis become strongly attracted to performing various kind of sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas. Thus, on the strength of their pious merits, they are elevated to heavenly planets. Actually, those who perform sacrifices strictly according to Vedic injunctions are elevated to the moon planet and planets above the moon. As mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 9.21, Shina Punya Mritya Lokam Vinashati. After exhausting the results of their so-called pious activities, they again return to earth, which is called Mritya Loka, the place of death. Although such persons may be elevated to heavenly planets by their pious activities, and although they may enjoy life for many thousands of years, they nonetheless must return to the planet when the results of their pious activities are exhausted. This is the position of karmis, including those who act piously and those who act impiously. On this planet, we find many businessmen, politicians, and others who are simply interested in material happiness. They attempt to earn money by all means, not considering whether such means are pious or impious. Such people are called karmis or gross materialistics. Among the karmis, some are vikarmis, people who act without the guidance of Vedic knowledge. Those who act on the basis of Vedic knowledge perform sacrifices for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu and to receive benedictions from him. In this way, they are elevated to higher planetary system. Such karmis are superior to vikarmis, for they are faithful to the directions of the Vedas and are certainly dear to Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita 4.11, Krishna says, Ye yatha mam prapadante tam tasve bhajameham. In whatever way one surrenders unto me, I reward him accordingly. Krishna is so kind that he fulfills the desires of the karmis and gyanis, not to speak of the bhaktas. Although karmis are sometimes elevated to higher planetary system, as long as they remain attached to fruitive activities, they must accept new material bodies after death. If one act piously, he can attain a new body amongst the demigods in higher planetary system, or he may attain some position in which he can enjoy a higher standard of material happiness. On the other hand, those who are engaged in impious activities are degraded and take birth as animals, trees, plants. Those thus those fruitive actors who do not care for Vedic directions, the karmis, are not appreciated by the learned saints as a person, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.4. Nunam pramatha kurute vikarma yat indriya paritaya aparnoti na sadhu manne yata atmano ayam asanapi klesada asadeha. Materialistic who work hard like dogs and hogs simply for sense gratification are actually mad. They simply perform all kinds of abominable activities simply for sense gratification. Materialistic activities are not all worthy of an intelligent man. For such a result of such activities, one gets a material body, which is full of misery. The purpose of human life is to get out of three folds of miserable conditions, which are concomitant with material existence. Fortunately, fruitive workers are mad to earn money and acquire temporary material comforts by all means. Therefore, they risk being degraded to lower species of life. Materialistic, foolish, Materialistic foolishly make plans to become happy in this material world. They do not stop to consider that they will live for a certain number of years, out of which they must spend the major portion acquiring money for sense gratification. Ultimately, such activities end in death. Materialistic do not consider that after giving up the body, they may become embodied as a lower animals, plants, or trees. Thus, all their activities simply defeat the purpose of life. Not only are they born ignorant, but they act on a platform of ignorance, they thinking that they are getting material benefits in the shape of skyscraper buildings, big cars, honorable position, and so on. The materialistic do not know that in the next life they will be degraded, and that all their activities simply serve as prabhav, their defeat. This is the verdict of Shrimad Bhagavatam 5.5.5. Prabhavas tavat abhot jataha. One should therefore be eager to understand the science of soul, Atma Tattva. Unless one comes to the platform of Atma Tattva, by which one understands the soul and not the body oneself, one remains on the platform of ignorance. Out of thousands and even millions of ignorant people who are wasting their time simply sense gratifying their senses, one may one may come to the platform of knowledge and understand the value of life. Such a person is called Gyani. The Gyani knows that his fruitive activities will bind him to material existence and cause him to transmigrate from one kind of body to another, as indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam by the term Sharira Bandha, bound to bodily existence. As long as one maintains any conception of sense enjoyment, his mind will be absorbed in karma, fruitive activity, and this will oblige him to transmigrate from one body to another. Thus, Gyanis is considered superior to Karmis. He at least refrains from the blind activities of sense enjoyment. This is the verdict of Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, Gyanis may be liberated from ignorance of the Karmis. Unless he comes to the platform of devotional service, he is still considered to be in ignorance, avidya. Although one may be accepted as Gyani or one advanced in knowledge, his knowledge is considered impure because he has no information of devotional service. Thus, neglect the direct worship of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When a Gyani takes to devotional service, he rapidly becomes superior to ordinary Gyanis. Person, such advanced person is described as Jnana Vimukta Bhakti Param. How Gyanis take to devotional service is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavad Gita 7.19, where Krishna says, Bahunam Janmana Mante Gyanavan Mam Prapadete Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Actually, a person is wise when he surrenders unto the lotus feet of Krishna, but such a Mahatma, great soul, is very rare. After taking to devotional service under the regulative principles, a person may come to the platform of spontaneous love of Godhead, following in the footsteps of great devotees like Narad and Sanat and Sanatan. The Supreme Personality of Godhead then recognizes him to be superior. The devotee who has developed love for Godhead are certainly in an exalted position. Of all these devotees, the gopis are recognized as superior because they do not know anything other than satisfying Krishna. Nor do the gopis expect any return from Krishna. Indeed, sometimes Krishna put them into extreme suffering by separating himself from them. Nonetheless, they cannot forget Krishna. When Krishna left Vrindavan for Mathura, the gopis become most dejected and spent of the rest of the life simply crying in the separation of Krishna from Krishna. This means that in one sense, they were never actually separated from Krishna. There is no difference between thinking of Krishna and associating with him. Rather, Virpalamba Seva, thinking of Krishna in separation, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, is far better than serving Krishna directly. Thus, of all devotees who have developed unalloyed devotional love for Krishna, the gopis are most exalted. And out of all the exalted gopis, Srimati Radharani is the highest. No one can excel the devotional service of Srimati Radharani. Indeed, even Krishna cannot the attitude. Indeed, even Krishna cannot understand the attitude of Srimati Radharani. Therefore, he took her position and appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just to understand her transcendental feelings. In this way, Srila Rupa Goswami gradually concludes that Srimati Radharani is most exalted devotee of Krishna and that her Kund, Sri Radha Kund is most exalted place. This is verified in the quotation from Lagu Bhagwa Amrit, Uttarakhand 45, as quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. यथा राधा प्रिय विष्णु तस्य कुंडनम प्रियम तथा सर्व गोपीषु सैविका विष्णुर अत्यंत वल्लभा. Just as Srimati Radharani is dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, Vishnu, so her bathing place, Radha Kund, is equally dear to Krishna. Among all the gopis, she alone stands supreme as Lord's most beloved. Therefore, everyone is interested in Krishna consciousness should immediately take shelter of Radha Kund and execute devotional service there throughout one's life. This is the conclusion of Rupa Goswami in the 10th verse of Updeshamrit.
Thank you. So a long purport. So the previous verse was describing about hierarchy of places. This verse describes out a hierarchy of different people. So it begins with the lowest category, that is Vikarmis. Who are Vikarmis? Nunam Pramatta Kurte Vikarma. Who are they? They are the people who act without the guidance of Vedic knowledge. That means they don't mind breaking the Vedic principles. Many times they are not even aware of that. So their position is not appreciated by saintly people, because such a life leads to the lower species. So one may degrade oneself to the life of animals, trees, plants. So they are considered lowest. And better than these people are karmis. Who are karmis? Those who act according to Vedic knowledge. So such people, they are very much attached to fruitive activities. Nowadays, Navratri is going on. All the people, they put cloth on their head and no, शेर पे सवार हो गया आधा शेरा वाली. All these songs they sing, and then Ganesh Chaturthi comes and Ganapati Baba Moria, worshipping all the demigods. So then such people are better than the people who act against the Vedic principles. So for them, they get a higher destination into heavenly planets. But problem is, Chine Padne Murta Vilokam Visanti. As soon as the pious credits are exhausted, come to this material world again. So that is how, since they don't get rid of the cycle of birth and death, and that is why they are also not so much glorified. Better than karmis are jnanis. Why? Because Jnanis, they think of transcending the cycle of birth and death. Atma Tattvam, they talk about that we are not body, we are soul. So they know all the fruitive activities, they bind us in this world. So we should aim at Brahman. So they consider superior to Karmis. But still, they are not so much glorified, they are not considered so much exalted. Why? Because even the position at the level of Brahman is not the eternal position of the soul. It's not a natural position for the soul. Natural position for the soul is Jiver Sarup Hoy Krishna Nityadas. So we are eternal servants of Krishna. Rather, even Jnanis have to take shelter of bhakti in order to get their Brahman. Na yujya manaya bhakta bhagavati akhilatmani sadrasti seva panda yoginam brahma siddhaya. This Mother Dehuti is speaking to Kapil Dev. So na yujya manaya bhakta, unless until this simultaneously practice devotion service, of whom Bhagavati Akhilatmani, the Lord who is residing in everyone's heart. Sadrastu Siva Panta Yoginam Brahma Siddhe. All the yogis, Karma Yogi, Jnana Yogi, Ashtanga Yogi, they don't get perfection of life. So even to get their perfection, they have to take shelter of bhakti. That's why bhakti is considered the supermost process, and their practitioners are considered superior. So higher than Jnanis are bhaktas, because they perform pure devotion service. Now, among those who perform devotion service, Raganuga bhaktas. Raganuga bhaktas who practice spontaneous devotion service are considered better than Vaidhi sadhana bhaktas. And among all the Raganuga sadhana bhaktas, those who have developed Krishna Prem are considered the best. They're the best. Among those such devotees, the best devotees are gopis. Because they can't forget Krishna even for a moment. So, Lord Chaitanya, according to Lord Chaitanya, Krishna is the Supreme Personality. Tad Dham Vrindavanam. And his place Vrindavan is the supermost. Ramya Kachit Varvadhu Upasana Valgena Va Kalpita. Among all the devotees, the worship of gopis is considered the supermost. Srimad Bhagavatam Praman Amalam. Srimad Bhagavatam is considered the supermost scripture. Prema Pumartu Mahan. Getting Krishna Prem is considered the highest goal of life. So these are the opinions of Lord Chaitanya. So why are gopis considered the best? Because although Krishna promised I will come back, and Krishna never came back, their love for Krishna didn't diminish a little bit. They were happy with Vipralamba Seva. Vipralamba Seva means service and separation. So every day, gopis would clean their houses, put cow dung, make rangoli, decorate their houses with an expectation. Krishna promised he'll come back, maybe he'll come back today. So like that, 100 years had passed. 100 years. They were still doing the same thing. So that is the love of gopis for Krishna. Rather, their love for Krishna increased. In this world, what happens is when somebody passes away, all the people may cry for some time, but slowly people forget. So that's materialistic love. But love of gopis is such, after Krishna left Vrindavan, their love for Krishna increased. They would had rather given up their bodies, but they didn't give up their bodies thinking that if we give up our body and Krishna returns, he will be so pained to see that I have died. And they didn't want to give a little bit of pain to Krishna. And that is why gopis never left their bodies. So that is extent of love of gopis for Krishna. We know another pastime where Krishna had headache in Dwarka. And then he said that if some devotee gives the dust of his lotus feet, then I will, my headache will be cured. So Narad Muni went to different devotees and they would say that we can't imagine giving our, first of all, we don't call it lotus feet, we will call it cactus feet. And then to giving the dust of that and to Krishna's head, no, we just can't think of that. But when gopis heard that, immediately they went to Yamuna. They kept their feet in Yamuna, came to mud, so that mud gets stuck on their feet. They removed the mud, gave a huge bulk of mud to Narad Muni. And they said that if you want 1 quintal more, we can give 1 quintal more. I will put our feet in Yamuna. Narad Muni was thinking, you are such ignorant ladies, don't you know that if dust from your feet touches Krishna's head, you will go to hell for eternity. Gopi said, we are ready for that. It's not that we are not aware. If our going to hell for eternity can cure Krishna's headache even for a moment, it's worth going to hell for eternity. So that's why the love of gopis is so exalted, can't be estimated. And among all the gopis, the highest gopi is Radharani. So much so, even Krishna is not able to understand the depth of love of Radharani. And that's why Krishna comes in the mood of Radharani as Lord Chaitanya. So Krishna saw that when I see Radharani, I become so happy. When my Radharani looks at me, she faints. I am supposed to be the supreme enjoyer, but it seems Radharani is enjoying more than me. Huh? So Krishna is called object of love. Radharani is called the reservoir of love. It's like, so where is Krishna Prem found? In Radharani. So it's like if in a vessel, we keep some burnt charcoals. Coals are there, burnt coals are there in the vessel. And the vessel is keeping this charcoal so that another personality will come and heat his hand in the charcoal. But the thing is, who gets more heat? The person taking the heat from the charcoal or the vessel itself? The vessel itself. So similarly, Radharani is the ashraya of Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem is the substance which gives pleasure. So Krishna is the enjoyer of the Krishna Prem, but Radharani is holding it, that's why Radharani enjoys more. And that is the reason Lord Krishna wanted to get or understand that love. That's why he came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the reason Radharani is considered the most exalted. And because Radha Kund is not different from Radharani, that's why Radha Kund is considered the supermost. So those who execute devotion service at Radha Kund are considered the most fortunate. And that's why Rupa Goswami recommended that progressive devotees should take shelter of Radha Kund and execute services throughout life at Radha Kund. So this was in this verse. Yes, sir. Pandit Radha.
Prabhuji, so we have heard from our seniors as well that one should not stay in Vrindavan for more than 3 days. But here Srila Rupa Goswami said that one can stay at Radhakund throughout their life and serve or perform devotional service there. So how we can understand this, Prabhuji?
Yeah. See, if we see about these verses, they are more applicable for people at the level of bhava and prayer. So many times, why it is said that you don't stay in Vrindavan for more than 3 days, because in Mayapur, the offenses are not counted, but in Vrindavan, offenses are counted. So we should, it's like generally for people who have materialistic point of view, then they see spiritual as material. And really speaking, we have the tendency, and that's why we are not able to chant purely. If you see our 10 offenses against the holy names, all 10 offenses against the holy names are because of these reasons. First offense, Vaishnava Aparadh. Why? We see devotee as ordinary. That's why we covered first offense. Second offense, we see Lord Vishnu as ordinary person. That's why we commit second one. Then third one we commit because we see spiritual master like ordinary person. Then we see holy name as ordinary name. So all these offenses are committed when we see spiritual as material. That's why when we go to the holy places, we have to prepare our consciousness how to or plan how to go there, do services there, and safely come back without committing any offenses. So that's an ideal thing to do. But for those who are exalted souls, they can see spiritual as spiritual. They can really make very rapid advancement by being in Radhakund. So for us, what we can do, we can just go there, take 3 drop water bath, nicely chant your rounds there. Don't hear from any Babajis there. Save yourself, come back. So that is something which we can do. Because for those who, because for those who commit offenses, Bhakti Sanskriti would say, for them it is not Radhakund, for them it is Narakund. Because there were many Babajis in Vrindavan who went with all good intentions to go to Radhakund and chant all the day and night and do their bhajan there. But during that time, what would happen is that there was a sort of, you can say, wrong social custom that sometimes one person would marry many wives just so that he doesn't have to work. He would stay in one wife's house for one month and the whole day, You have 12 wives means all 12 months are gone. You don't have to work. And when then such elderly people would die, these young girls, earlier they were forced for sati, which Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Radha Ramohan Rai stopped. Or they would come to Vrindavan. Generally, they would shave their heads and come to Vrindavan. And that's how you'll find so many widows in Vrindavan. So all these Bengali ladies, they come from Bengal to Vrindavan. And sometimes they were very young, even age of 18 and 20, but their husbands are very old. They were married to men who were like 70 or 80 years old. So then what would happen is these Babajis who would go to, with all good intentions, to do bhajan there, they would sometimes become agitated by seeing these ladies who were taking bath there. And then they would come with their own philosophies of saying, if you want to understand Radha Krishna Leela, then you have to enjoy like Radha and Krishna. And they would end up doing illicit sex. Sometimes to maintain themselves, they would roll BDs and sell BDs there. So then Bhakti Saraswati said that it's not Radha Kund for you. So there's a place which is respectable, with on reverence, you should worship this place. Take bath there and do your bhajan properly and come back. That is the reason when Bhakti Saraswati was called by Babajis in Radhakund. So first of all, they were surprised that he came with suit boot in Mercedes Benz, not Mercedes Benz, this Rolls Royce, which is the costliest car even today. That time it was there only with Governor of Bengal and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So Bhakti Saraswati had that car. So they were surprised. And when they said that, no, please speak something about Radharani, Bhakti Saraswati spoke from Isupnisad mantra number 1 onwards. Don't look at other other people's wives. Be satisfied with your own wife. If you're a Babaji, don't look at any woman at all. So they said, we want to hear about Radha Krishna Tattva. Bhakti Saraswati said, we are not qualified for it. First, hear Isupnisad 1, mantra number 1. So he gave class on Isupnisad. So point is that a premature jumping can be disastrous. And see, many of these people were not having ill intentions. They went with all good intentions, but became prey. They fell prey. That's why those who stay in, it's not that our devotees don't say so many fun devotees stay in Vrindavan, not just for 3 days or so many days, but then they're absorbed in some service. Vrindavan is a place for doing bhajan and doing some seva. So if we can do some seva there, we can do some bhajan there, then it's good. But prematurely doing all these things can be dangerous. And that's why we are warned not to go for like many days. So Rupa Goswami has spoken in this verse after speaking about Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodh Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udarupastha Vegam. After we cross through all the verses, then we can come to verse number 10 and stay in Radhavan.
Okay, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, I have another question. So those who are exalted devotees can attain Krishna Prem. Okay, this is what I get the gist. But what about us, or what about me? So is it possible for a devotee to attain Krishna Prem even in this lifetime?
Yes. लटके रहो पक जाओगे.
Sorry.
Yeah. So remain connected to Guru Parampara properly and then slowly will ripe. So many devotees, Prabhupada disciples, they have lifelong practice Krishna consciousness and gone back and back to God with clear symptoms. Then why not we? We also have a hope, right? So hope is there, but the main thing is we have to continue. See, main problem is that many people, they lose their patience and jump off. That is where they go wrong. See, even if we are struggling with anarthas or some devotees even struggle with 4x. Now, generally, it's not so much problem for Indians, but for many foreign devotees, it's a problem. So I personally heard about some Prabhupada disciples. It took them 20-25 years after coming in ISKCON to get rid of the habit of drugs. Because they were hippies before. So they were so addicted that it took them such a long time. But then after that, as soon as they got rid of this bad habit, they continued practicing their Krishna consciousness. And finally, they perfected their life and back to Godhead. So the main thing is to continue. If you continue with the same thing, you will perfect something. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Hare. So now we can go to the last verse. कृष्णोच्च प्रणय वसति प्रेयासीभ्योऽपि राधा कुंडम चासा मुनिभिरभितस् तादृक् एव व्यधायि यत् प्रेष्ठे सपियलम् असुलभम् किं पुनर्भक्ति भाजाम् तत् प्रेमेदम् सकृत् अपि सरा स्नातुर आविष्करोति. Please read the translation in the book. Yes, Pandit Gadar.
Translation. Of the many objects of favored delight and of all the lovable damsels of Brajbhumi, Srimati Radha Rani is certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love. And in every respect, her divine Kund is described by great sages as similarly dear to him. Undoubtedly, Radha Kund is very rarely attained even by the great devotees. Therefore, it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. If one simply bathes once within those holy waters, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused. Purport. Why is Radhakund so exalted? The lake is so exalted because it belongs to Srimati Radharani, who is the most beloved object of Shri Krishna. Among all the gopis, she is the most beloved. Similarly, her lake, Sri Radhakund, is also described by great sages as the lake that is as dear to Krishna as Radha herself. Indeed, Krishna's love for Radhakund and Srimati Radharani is the same in all respects. Radhakund is very rarely attained even by great personalities fully engaged in devotional service, not to speak of ordinary devotees who are only engaged in the practice of Vedic bhakti. It is stated that a devotee will at once develop pure love of Krishna in the wake of the gopis if he takes bath in Radhakund. Srila Rup Goswami recommends that even if one cannot live permanently on the banks of Radhakund, he should at least take a bath in the lake as many times as possible. This is the most important item in the execution of devotional service. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in this connection that Sri Radha Kund is the most select place for those interested in advancing their devotional service in the wake of the lady friends, Sakhis, and the confidential serving maids, Manjaris of Srimati Radharani. Living entities who are eager to return home to the transcendental kingdom of God, Golok Vrindavana, by means of attaining their spiritual bodies, Siddh Deha, should live at Radha Kund, take shelter of the confidential serving maids of Sri Radha, and under their direction, engage constantly in her service. This is the most exalted method for those engaged in devotional service under the protection of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this connection, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes that even great sages and great devotees like Narad and Sanak do not get an opportunity to come to Radha Kund to take their baths. What then to speak of ordinary devotees? If by great fortune one gets an opportunity to come to Radha Kund and bathe even once, he can develop his transcendental love for Krishna exactly as the gopis did. It is also recommended that one should live on the banks of Radha Kund and should be absorbed in the loving service of the Lord. One should bathe there regularly and give up all material conceptions, taking shelter of Shri Radha and her assistant gopis. If one is thus constantly engaged during his lifetime, after giving up the body, he will return back to Godhead to serve Shri Radha in the same way as he contemplated during his life on the banks of Radha Kund. The conclusion is that to live on the banks of the Radha Kund and to bathe there daily constitute the highest perfection of devotional service. It is a difficult position to attain, even for great sages and devotees like Narad. Thus, there is no limit to the glory of Sri Radha Kund. By serving Radha Kund, one can get an opportunity to become an assistant of Srimati Radharani under the eternal guidance of the gopis. Hare Krishna.
Hari Hari. So we just summarize it again. So why Radha Kund is so exalted? Because it belongs to Srimati Radharani, who is beloved of Krishna. It is dear to Krishna as Radharani is dear to Krishna. Radha Kund is very rarely attained even by great personalities like Narad, etc. So a devotee will once develop pure love of Krishna in the wake of gopis once one takes bath in Radha Kund. Now again, the star mark without offenses. Without offenses. So then Radha Kund is the most, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, it is the most select place for those who want to follow in the footsteps of Sakhis and Mandiris. That means Madhur Ras devotees. So from that point of view, you can understand it's more applicable for people who are Raghunaga Bhaktas. So those who are eager to go to Golok Vrindavan by attending the Siddha Day, they are recommended to stay at Radha Kund, take shelter of maid servants of Srimati Radharani, and engage in her service under the direction. So how is it possible? For those who are on that level, they can do it. Like we have example of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So when Rupa Goswami was there, he wrote many literatures. But most of these literature was so exalted that G. Goswami, when he read them, he found that Kali-yuga Vasis are not, they can't appreciate, they can't understand. That's why most of the literatures of Rupa Goswami are buried by Jeev Goswami in Granth Samadhi. Actually speaking, even Jeev Goswami had worked very hard for that. Because Rupa Goswami was served by Jeev Goswami. In those days, Jeev Goswami would collect all these palm leaves, dry them, dry the things required for the ink to be made, crush it into powder, make the ink, give to Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami would write on it. Then he would again dry it up, string it with a string. That is how he would work so hard to get these literatures. But when he read them, he found Kali-yuga Vasis can't understand. And that is why he highlighted married relationship with Krishna and gopis. That was the highlight. But when Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur came, he started highlighting again, oh, they had a conjugal love, which is called Parkiya Bhav, beyond marriage. So then many of the Pandits of Vrindavan, they didn't like it. They became so much of disturbed that they wanted to kill him. They wanted to kill him. But then they were waiting. They waited for the whole night. To that Vishwanath Thakur will come and they will kill him. But it became like 7 or 8 p.m. in the night time. So they saw one girl was plucking flowers from a group near Radhakund. So they asked the girl, does Vishwanath Thakur come here? And the girl said, generally he's supposed to come, but I didn't know why he didn't come. Again, it became 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. This girl was still plucking the flowers. And they asked, Vishwanath Thakur didn't come. So it said, yeah, supposed to come. I don't know why he didn't come. It became 12 o'clock in the midnight. Girl was still plucking the flowers. And then they said that Chakravarti Path came, he came, Vishwanath Thakur came. He said, yeah, supposed to come. I don't know why he didn't come. And then they had a question. You are a small girl in such a remote place. What are you doing here at 12 o'clock in the midnight? How are you plucking the flowers? So then she said that actually Radharani is there in Barsana, not Barsana, it's like Raval. But Radharani is there in not Raval, where she stayed with Jatala and Kutala. Yes, forgot her name. So I think Barsana only, yes, Barsana only. And Krishna, yes, where Mother knows that detail? Where is that place?
Is it Jawat, Prabhuji?
Jawat, yes, Jawat. Jawat. So Jawat. And then Krishna is there in Vrindavan. So Radharani doesn't have time to make garland. That's why I am plucking these flowers so that I can make garland for Radharani and give to Radharani so that both of them can meet at Saket. So then when they heard that, they were like surprised. Said, who are you? And then he changes form and turned to be Vishwanath Thakur. So then they fell at the feet of Vishwanath Thakur and they said, whatever you speak, we accept it. He said, no, still logically I'll tell you. So then he explained that it is given the scripture that Radha and Krishna would come and meet at Saket. If Krishna was married to Radharani, why they have to meet secretly at Saket? So then they were like thoroughly convinced and they became his disciples. So personalities of that order would stay in Radhakund and serve Radha and Krishna under the direction of gopis. See, these literatures are not just meant for sadhaka, they are meant for all level of devotees. So then we have to understand. So that's why these scriptures have to be read under guidance. So this is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. So our acharyas are not ordinary people. They all, most of them are either mandiris or great gopis. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself was a mandiri. He was also a mandiri. So he made a house, if you see near Radhakund, there is a place. So there he had written this song, Radhakund Kute, Radhakund Tate Kunja Katir, Ye Sada Chodat Kahi Nahi Jao. So he has written all these songs there. So then he would meditate on all these things. So he writes that this is the most exalted method for those engaged in devotional service under the protection of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati says that this Radha Kund, taking bath in Radha Kund is a rare privilege even for Sanak, Sanada and Narada. So if one gets an opportunity, he should bathe here regularly, give up all material conceptions, and take shelter of Radha Krishna and his assistant gopis. So if one continues with that in this lifetime, then he can serve Radharani in Radha Kund. So whatever service he was meditating for the whole life, he can continue with that service. So what is the benefit of serving at Radha Kund? So the benefit is that one gets an opportunity to assist Radharani under the eternal guidance of gopis in the spiritual world. So that's why Rupa Goswami recommends regularly taking bath in Radha Kund is the most important item of devotional service. Yes. Where were we, Matan? Your question.
Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhuji, it is told to us that we should not take bath in Radhakund. Could you please enlighten me with this statement, why we should not? Because it
Yeah.
is written here that one should.
Yeah. So actually, I just spoke it just now, 20 minutes before. I'll repeat it. So what happened is Prabhupada took all the devotees to Radhakund so that they can take bath in Radhakund. But then what happened is devotees started frivolously sporting in Radhakund waters. It's like, swimming there and splashing water at each other and this and that. So then Prabhupada said, this is a place which is a great place. It's not different from Radharani. So you should respectfully take bath here and go back. And then when Prabhupada understood that these devotees are not qualified, he said, no more taking bath in Radhakund. And that is why even I go to Radhakund, I just take 3-drop water bath. It's like splash some water on the head. I chant some extra rounds there, maybe 64 rounds, 108 rounds there. Pray there and come back. So that's why we do it. Oops. Yes, Pandit Radhakund.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Now I'm thoroughly convinced about staying at Radhakund and what all topics we discussed. So, Prabhuji, I have a question with respect to Govardhan. So, we talked in detail, or you shared in detail about how the Govardhan takes as a form of a servant of Krishna, as it supplies a lot more things. And Krishna plays his pastimes. The Govardhan has the footprints of Balram and Krishna. So just wanted to understand how Govardhan is turned as Krishna, because he's God himself as well as a servant of Krishna. So just could you please enlighten or throw some light on this part as well? How Govardhan is Krishna?
See, Govardhan is Krishna, but in a mood of a servant. Except Krishna as a personality, if we see carefully or analyze very carefully, everybody has a service attitude. एकल ईश्वर कृष्ण और सब वृद्ध जहां रे जैसे नचाए तार तरह से करे नृत्य. So even Balram is also non-different from Krishna, but he's in a mood of a servant. So Krishna is Sevak Bhagavan, Balram is Sevak Bhagavan. So what to say of Govardhan? So Govardhan is also Krishna, form of Krishna, but he's in mood of a service. Krishna loves Vridavasi so much that he wants to serve his cows. Krishna wants to serve all the gopas, gopis, and that is why he takes the form of Govardhan. So in this way, Krishna takes an opportunity to serve all the devotees, especially Vridavasis, by taking the form of Govardhan. So Govardhan is not different from Krishna, but in the mood of a servant. Krishna personally, it's like he's in a mood of accepting the service. But somebody has to take the service now. So that's why he comes that way.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Krishna Priya Mata.
Very much, Anant Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. We heard in all the past times.
Mata, your voice is very faint. Maybe if you can speak in the mic, it would be.
Is it audible now?
Yes, Mata.
Okay. So we have heard in most of the past times, mostly there are females only. But Govardhan, is it female or male? Because in the most of the pastimes, males are not allowed. We don't hear any Dam, Sudam, all in their very different pastimes, which secret pastimes. But how come Govardhan? So that is I wanted to know.
Yeah, see, Govardhan is not different from Krishna only. Govardhan is not different from Krishna.
Okay.
So he can be there. He can be there everywhere. See, what to say of Govardhan? Even it's like certain personalities who don't interrupt the rasa, they can be at different places. Like for example, when there is a pastime of Krishna with gopis in Ras Leela, there even demigods are allowed. So demigods, so each gopi was thinking Krishna dancing only with me, but demigods were seeing this wonderful scene of Ras Leela. Angana Mangana Mantara Madhavo Madhava Madhavam Chanenta Angada Ittam Sakalpito Mandale Madraga Sanjagam Veduna Deviki Nandana. Angana Mangana Mantra Madhava. Between two Angana means two Gopi, there's Krishna. Madhavam Madhavam Chadventa Angana. Between two Madhavas, between two Krishna, there is Gopi. So it's like Ittam Sakalpito Mandale Madraga. In this way, they make an entire circle, Mandal. And Sanjagam Veduna Deviki Nandana. Between the circle at a center of circle, again, Krishna goes and plays on the flute. So these were saying all these pastimes. Now there are some more very intimate pastimes where demigods are not allowed. There are only gopis are allowed, gopis and mandiris. There are some more intimate pastimes where even gopis are not allowed, only mandiris are allowed because they have very less age. Certain places even mandiris are not allowed. But Radha and Krishna perform their very private pastimes under a Kalpavriksha tree who's Madhavendra Puri. That's why Madhavendra Puri knew the most intimate secret of Radha and Krishna. He's considered the root of Madhur Bhakti in our Sampradaya. So it's not like now you'll say Manpuri is a male. Actually speaking, except Krishna, everybody is female. There's only one Purusa who is Krishna. All are Prakriti. So that is how. See, main thing is the main consideration is whose presence will interrupt a rasa or not. So presence of certain people. So we should not see from a conception of this, which we have mental conceptions. It's more from a rasa point of view. So if presence of a person who interrupts the rasa is there, then they're not allowed. Like even when Krishna was doing this Vastrahana Leela, there were males, but who were there? These small children who were like 1.5 years old. So when Krishna came from Vrindavan, there were some small babies, no 1.5 crawling babies. They just followed Krishna because of their attraction for Krishna. Now they had no understanding of what was going on. So they came there, nobody minded their presence in the entire episode. So those who don't interrupt the rasa, they're allowed, no problem.
Okay, so till now I was thinking that Govardhan is a male. So I was like most of the time I was wondering, so how come this is possible? So today this is like dissolved everything, and I come to know now the real
Yeah.
thing. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, sir.
Govardhan is the supreme most male, is Krishna. See, we have to understand Krishna's position is special in the sense that Krishna is everywhere. Krishna is everywhere. So relationship with Krishna is not based on any restrictions of this world. Just like now, some couple is going to a temple, husband will never say, hey, don't look at Krishna. Look at only me. I'm your only husband. No. Krishna is Satotambati. He's husband of everyone. So what to say of Mataji? Prabhuji is also wife of Krishna only. He's Prakriti. Everybody is Prakriti. So that is like a transcendental relationship and a transcendental position, which has nothing to do with the relationships of this world. Yes. So I hope that's clear now. So what can be done is, so just wait for 2 minutes. I'll join through my laptop. So because the signal was not very clear, I didn't join from my laptop. So for last these verses, I'll just show the PPT that I was supposed to show. I couldn't show it because of the network problem. So I'll exit from here and enter through my laptop now. Okay, so it may take 2-3 minutes. Hari Hari.
Okay.
Hare Hare. So I'll just quickly show some slides and then we may end. This is something I wanted to show. These are different stages of hearing. So we begin with Sramanatasa. Smaranavastha had 5: recollection, absorption, meditation, constant remembrance, and spiritual trance. Then was Samadhi. And on Samadhi, one gets Sampatti Dasa. Sampatti Dasa means one realizes one's position in the spiritual world. So these were different stages of hearing. Yeah. So something I wanted to show. Then for the next verse, this was the hierarchy. Vaikuntha is 3/4 of the creation. Better than that is Mathura. Better than that is Vrindavan. Better than that is Govardhan. And the Radhakund. Radhakund is the best among them. Yeah. So this was the hierarchy. Vaikuntha, Mathura, Vrindavan, Govardhan, and then Radhakund. Yes. This was about devotees. Better than Vikarmis are Karmis. Better than Karmis are Gyanis. Better than Karmis are the Bhaktas. Better than them is Gopis. And best is Radharani among all the Gopis. So Vikarmis, then Karmis, Gyanis, better than them is Bhaktas, then Gopis, and Radharani. Radharani is the best. This was about Radhakund. Comments of Bhaktivinoda Thakur were there, Bhakti Saraswati, benefit of serving Radhakund, and then importance of bathing in Radhakund. Yes. So this was something which I wanted to show. Yeah, voice is not clear, and that is the reason I was taking it through mobile. So I hope that devotees are at least able to see the.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, voice is clear, Prabhuji, today somehow for us at least.
Give me a minute.
Slides are quite clear.
It's not clear, but PPT was clear.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
PPT was very
Yes,
clear.
Prabhuji.
Okay. So maybe I'll try to speak again by showing PPT.
Voice is clear, Prabhuji, now.
Now it's clear? Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, earlier also.
Okay. So again, I'll show the PPT. So already we had discussed, I was just summarizing it, what we discussed today. So hearing begins with Sravanadasa, constant hearing, then Varanadasa, accepting. Smaranavastha has 5 stages. Smaran means basically remembering. Smarana. So recollection, then absorption, then meditation, constant remembrance, and spiritual trance. Spiritual trance is called Samadhi. And after being in Samadhi, when then one understands one's constitutional position, and then one can understand one's eternal relationship with Krishna. That is called Sampatti Dasa. Sampatti means basically the wealth which we had lost, we found it again. So that's what Sampatti Dasa. So this was about previous one. Then we were discussing about a different hierarchy of places. Better than Vaikuntha is Mathura. Better than Mathura is Vrindavan. Better than Vrindavan is Govardhan, and best is Radhakund. So this was the Vaikuntha, Mathura, Vrindavan, Govardhan, Radhakund. Then about the devotees, worst people are the Vikarmis. Most of the people of the world today, especially in Kali Yuga. Better than them are Karmis. Better than them are Gyanis. Then Bhaktas. Among Bhaktas, the best are Gopis. And the best Gopis is Srimati Radharani. So Vikarmis, better than the Karmis, better than them are Gyanis, better than them are Bhaktas, better than them are Gopis, and then best Gopis Radharani. And then we have discussed about the importance of Radha Kund from the perspective of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, from Bhaktivinoda Swami's perspective. And being there every day is considered the most important part of devotional service by Rupa Goswami. So now I'll just take the summary of NOI, maybe just 4 minutes. So NOI number 1, first verse. We have discussed about controlling the 6 urges. So one who can control all these 6 urges, he becomes qualified to make disciples all over the world. So this was verse number 1. Verse number 2, don'ts. 6 things which destroy the devotion service. Attaha prayasascha prajalpaniyamagraha janasangasya dolamcha sarva bhakti vinasati. Third verse talks about 6 do's, what we should do in order to enhance our Krishna consciousness. So that was there in verse number 3. Then the quality we should develop. Verse number 4, 5, 6. All these 4 verses are about, or 3 verses are about how to develop association or how to stay in association of devotees. So verse number 4 was how to develop relationship with the devotees. So 6 ways, when they are done heartfully, where heart is involved, that helps us develop relationship with devotees. Now, after we develop relationship with devotees, how to deal with them, how to deal with different levels of devotees. Madhya Madhikaris will know how to deal with different levels of devotees. So that was explained in verse number 5. Verse number 6 discusses about how not to see faults in the devotees. How not to see the faults in the devotees. So that is verse number 6. So don't judge them based on material outlook. So that was text number 6. So it was about sadhu sang. When we stay in sadhu sang, we start doing bhajan. So that bhajan kriya is explained in text number 7. We should chant holy names every day with respect. Kintu adarad anudinam khalu sevajashta. And then slowly we'll develop the taste for the holy name. So that was there in text number 7. And then text number 8 is considered the essence of all the advices. That stay in Vrindavan 24 hours a day. Absorb yourself in hearing, remembering, chanting about Krishna. And this is also a verse which is about Raganuga Bhakti. So till verse number 7 it was more about Vedisadhana Bhakti, then verse number 8 is about Raganuga Bhakti. And then verse number 9, 10 and 11 are more about Bhav Bhakti and Prem Bhakti. So on that level, one should follow verse number 9, 10 and 11. So they describe about, verse number 9 describes about various hierarchy of different places. Verse number 10 talks about hierarchy of different devotees. And verse number 11 concludes with the most exalted part of devotion service, that is taking bath in Radha Kund and meditating on Radha Krishna pastimes. So that is the essence of all the instructions of the scriptures given in NOI in these 11 verses. So that ends our nectar instruction. Hari Hari. So I think your even Bhakti Shastri is complete now.
Yes.
So maybe some exams are remaining. Then you will be qualified as Bhakti Shastri candidates. Hari Hari. Okay, so we'll end here. See
Yes,
if there's some
Prabhuji, thank you
speaking.
so much. Association here, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hari Hari.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hari Hari.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare Krishna. Pranam to all devotees.
Pancha Kalpadurvasa Kripasinduevcha Pattanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo। श्री रूप गोस्वामी पाद की जय, उपदेश अमृत की जय, श्री गोपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Pranam to all
Hare Krishna,
devotees.
Prabhuji.
Pranam to all devotees. Pranam to all the devotees. Hare
It
Krishna.
was really nice associating with you all, especially Pakistan से जो भक्त हैं. It was our we are very fortunate because जब मैंने कोर्स एनरोल किया था तो